So this season of Doctor Who has come to an end. It's the first time I've reviewed every single episode as it went out, so I've spent far too much time thinking about it, and now it's time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. I'll start by ranking all of the episodes from worst to best. At 8, Space Babies. I still have no idea why they decided to launch the new series and the new Disney Plus era with such a bad episode. A lot of people would have tuned in and thought, no, this is rubbish, and switched off. And who can blame them? It might have worked as a fun mid-season outing in between two darker episodes, but to begin the season with something like that was just ridiculous. At 7, Empire of Death. I just reviewed this one a few days ago, so there's not much more to add. It's a very underwhelming finale, with the bad guy defeated in the silliest way possible, and it's a very anticlimactic ending to all of the mysteries of the season. Bonnie Langford was really good as Mel, though, so it's good to know that she'll be coming back next year. At 6, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, the setup to the finale. It's very atmospheric, but without much substance, and it treated the reveal of Sutekh like it would mean anything to anyone other than the hardcore fans. Still, it's definitely the better half of that story. At 5, Rogue. It's a decent enough episode, with a great period setting. It looks fantastic, and there's an intriguing new romance for the Doctor. So overall, not bad. At 4, The Devil's Court, the highlight of the opening double bill. The maestro was the most memorable guest star of the series, and the final song and dance number was wonderfully weird. It didn't make any sense, but who cares? At 3, Dot and Bubble. Now we're getting to the good stuff. It's a very strong episode with a gut punch twist ending that makes you realise you've been following the villain the whole time. It feels more like a Black Mirror or Twilight Zone episode than Doctor Who, but that's not a bad thing. They should definitely do more stylistic diversions such as this. At 2, 73 Yards. My review of this got 2,000 views, which is about 10 times more than normal. I guess a lot of people were left wondering what the hell is going on. The whole episode has a great atmosphere of dread and loneliness and just plain wrongness, and Millie Gibson seizes the chance to take the lead for once. Only the ending lets it down, leaving too much ambiguous or unexplained. Otherwise it would be an absolute classic. And at number 1, Boom. I got into trouble when I gave this a positive review, with more downvotes and negative comments than I've ever had before. And I guess putting it in first place just runs the risk of it happening again. But I don't care, it was a fantastic episode, with a killer premise, and Stephen Moffat's best script in years. So like most seasons, there's quite a range in quality there. Russell T Davies wrote some of the best episodes, but also some of the worst. Perhaps he should try bringing in more writers next season. That might help to bring in some new ideas to the mix, and keep the show going into the future. The fact that Stephen Moffat is writing the Christmas special is a good sign. Normally the showrunner would want to do the big Christmas episode, but if he's handing it over, then it's more likely that he might do the same for the big season finales in future, as long as he doesn't get Chibnall to write them. As to the cast, I've got no problems with them. Ncuti Gatwa is a much more emotional Doctor than we've seen before. It shouldn't work, but somehow it does. It was a little off-putting at first. It's so different to the traditional Doctor performance. I guess it helps once you realise that his loud, gregarious, party animal persona is just a front. And towards the end of the season, you get to see more quieter moments where he can be more himself. Which is a similar sort of thing that David Tennant's Doctor used to do. Millie Gibson is clearly a good actress, but the storyline this season has mostly been about the mystery of her origins. Kind of like when Jenna Coleman started as Clara. Her first season was all about her being the impossible girl. But after that was resolved, they did give her a personality. So hopefully the same will happen with Ruby next year. As to how the season compares to all the other New Who seasons, I've drawn up a rough chart of my top 14 seasons since 2005. I haven't included the specials, as that would just make it too complicated. As you can see, 2024 is way down there in the bottom half. Definitely ahead of the Chibnall years, but not up to the same standard as the original Russell T Davies era. But then the first season, back in 2005, was about the same quality. And the show got a lot better in the subsequent years, so hopefully the same thing can happen again. I just hope the viewers give it a chance to improve. That's all for now. I'll be back next week with my thoughts on The Keeper of Traken, with the rest of 80s Who to follow in the coming months. So press subscribe if it sounds like your kind of thing, and I'll see you next time.